Tuesday's edition of FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Evan Thompson, bringing you the beautiful sunset. Well, not sunset yet, but we'll get to that sooner or later in the show for you. It is definitely a perfect day to be able to see that. Bright blue skies pretty much all around our Doak Campbell Stadium cam. It has been hot and 89 degrees though today. The sun has been sweltering us, making us sweat. It has been giving us plenty and plenty of heat, almost making us feel like summertime throughout the night tonight. 87 in Valdosta, 86, all much, not 86 all the way throughout the area, but all around we got 80s throughout the Big Bend region. But no rain much at all today. Lots and lots of sunshine to talk about as the summer-like temperatures continue out the rest of the week. Plenty of sunshine to talk about, but the cooler temperatures finally going to start to get to us later in the week. That and more now on FSU Weather.
Florida University and those in the greater Tallahassee area. As we saw in our overview, quite warm out there, especially for now mid-October. Highs are approaching 90 degrees. So definitely, if you thought your pool was done with, maybe you can stop by the pool. Warm temperatures will continue through Friday, but there is cold front on the horizon. After all, it is October, and so we're going to be looking ahead to some cooler and drier air coming into the region. So for this this period, nothing too crazy. We're in a pretty mild pattern right now ahead of in that high pressure and ridge. And as I said, that big weather feature coming in is going to be on Friday night and into Saturday. And so there will be some beautiful weather for the FSU and UNC game. As for the tropics, we have Invest 93 out in the Atlantic, but is undergoing about 40 knots of shear right now. So we do not expect any development. And as of right now, the National Hurricane Center has no other threats in the next 5 days. And we won't really talk about the long range because it is the long range and not really important. So what we are going to talk about in the upcoming show today, we're going to talk about those leaves, talk about some cooler temperatures coming, and we're going to talk about the overall nice conditions. Really go out and enjoy the area, enjoy the parks, enjoy the great outdoors. It's a good time with social distancing, not to be cooped up inside. Make sure you get out, stay healthy. And so that is, that's the opportunity this week is going to present in weather. And that is what we're going to take, and it should be a pretty good set. And now we're going to pass over to Wall and Christian.
Thank you, Hayden. And as Evan said a little bit earlier, it looks like it's the sunset, but we're not quite there yet, but we're almost there. All right, and so our current temperature is 89 degrees. It's very sunny with partly cloudy skies, and we have winds coming from the northwest at 7 miles per hour. And now we will be looking at our temperatures hour by hour. So from 6 a.m. this morning, it was a nice 72 degrees, and it remained that way up until we got to 80 degrees at 11 a.m. this morning, and it even warmed up quite to 90 degrees right at 3 o'clock, and it still is feeling kind of warm, like I said. And now as we look off into our area, current temperatures is 89 degrees with sunny conditions in Tallahassee, 86 degrees in Quincy, partly cloudy skies, and Southwest Georgia also has some clear skies with 85 degrees in Bainbridge and 86 degrees in Thomasville. And now we are looking at our dew points, and it's not feeling too bad. Our dew point temperature is 67, 70 degrees in Quincy, and it's 67 and 68 all along Southwest Georgia. And now we are looking at satellite radar. It's not looking too bad. We got some rains dispersing around the western part of our viewing area. So it's not really, it's very sunny as we speak right now, but it's not going to be really impacting us, that rain, at all. And now we are looking at our upper level water vapor. It is very dry coming into the south part of the state. And so we are getting some of that moisture coming in from the north. And as we look into our next 24 hours, the clouds are going to be passing by, and we got some rain coming in from the west, and it's going to be possibly coming into us tomorrow, but we will be seeing how that goes. And for tonight's forecast, it's going to be very cloudy throughout most of our region. It's going to be 64 in Tallahassee, so it's going to be cooling down a little bit. and it's going to be in our lower to upper 50s in southwest Georgia. And for tomorrow's forecast, it's going to be quite warm still. It's going to be very cloudy throughout our entire region, and it's going to be 87 degrees in Tallahassee. Monticello, Quincy, and Bainbridge will also be 87 degrees, while St. Mark's, Valdosta, and Perry and Valdosta will be 88 degrees, and St. Mark's is going to be a little bit cooler with 84 degrees. And now for tonight's forecast, it's going to be a little bit clearer. I do not understand why there's an icon of a low cloud, but it will be a little bit cooler, as I said, 68 degrees, and we will have temperatures coming from the south-southeast at 4 miles per hour. Tomorrow it's going to be warming up a little bit again with some clear skies. We have 86 degrees, and the winds will be coming from the east at 5 miles per hour. And for the week ahead, we have very warm temperatures from the mid to upper 80s from Wednesday through Friday, and it's going to cool off a little bit on Saturday, and we will go ahead and pass things off to Evan.
Thank you very much, Christian. We're going to get a little bit of a broad look at what we're looking at here when it comes to our weather affecting a little more locally towards Tallahassee. See, 89 in Tallahassee itself, but we're experiencing a lot of those heat-like conditions, a lot of those summer-like conditions, that's a better term for it, all around the region. Pretty much, even though 89 is the hot spot right now all across the southeast, 80s wherever we're looking for the most part, except for the northern side of the southeast up by Little Rock, we're reaching at 75 degrees. And they're feeling a lot better thanks to these lower dew points. 44 for Little Rock, 49 in Jackson. That's because a cold front actually has passed through much of the the northern half of Mississippi, Alabama, and a little bit in the mountains in northwest Georgia as well, keeping them a little more cooler. Especially, we'll start to see those temperature drops for tonight, as we'll look at in just a moment. But regardless, we were dealing with a lot of moisture still up over by Jacksonville at 69 for their dew point. Regardless, all of those winds are really chasing behind that cold front. 13 in Jackson, 7 in Tupelo, 10 in Montgomery, and a little bit of a higher one in Atlanta at 13 miles an hour. But hey, I just said a cold front, and it's bringing those dew points and temperatures down, but where's the moisture? We don't see too much on the radar over in the southeast. In fact, can't really see much at all. We have a little bit of cloud cover just southeast of Miami. But besides that, this is a cold front that's lacking a lot of moisture, but that's for the better, I guess. Don't have to deal much with the rain, and it drops the dew point, which makes you feel better, and it also drops the temperature, which is going to be effective tonight, which is going to be fun to see. And this all thanks to a lot of that dry air, which is kind of getting mixed in with that cold front. See, the cold front kind of goes right along my hand line all the way up into the northeast, and it's dealing with a lot of dry air kind of going through. So it is lowering the temperatures, but it doesn't have a lot of moisture to get it there. It doesn't have a lot of convection to be able to provide that storm surge. So yeah, you can see that here's where the storm, the front line kind of goes. You're going to reach sweater weather. There we go, said it right. Sweater weather down, not down, but up in Tupelo and Little Rock. They're reaching up into the 40s tonight, 50s all across much of the other parts of the region. Meanwhile, cold front not going to be too much of an effect for Florida. Orlando is still up to 69 degrees, and New Orleans still reaching up to 64 as well. But for tomorrow, man, even though those lows are going to feel very much needing like you need a jacket for tonight, it still reaches up to 79 in Little Rock and 81 in Tupelo and 82 in Jackson for tomorrow. So still going to be able to, you're not going to really need those sweaters for tomorrow as much, as is going to be another hot one as we reach 91 in Tampa. But for now, we're going to bring it off to a look at what's going on in the tropics with Hayden.
A lot of something and a lot of nothing, if that makes any sense. We'll explain it here at the studio. So, out in the Atlantic, we do have Invest 93L. So from our IR satellite, we'll get a closer look in a little bit, but you kind of see some of this convection. There's a little low-level center, so right now it's a 20% chance of overall nothing too concerning. And you can see in the Caribbean, very dry, not a lot of convection. And that is what we like to see for this time of the year. So looking over Merida and the Bay of Campeche, where we've been so active this year, we do have some showers, but this is nothing organized, nothing tropical. So we are looking fine in that area. And then this is that zoomed in look we're talking about with Invest 93L. So you can really see these brighter colors. That's that colder height, those colder cloud tops. That's indicating some of those thunderstorms. Nothing too organized. We're actually a low-level center. It's probably more over here. And then we do have an upper-level low providing some shear into the area, and that's why it's not conducive by the National Hurricane Center, only giving you a 20% chance. So we can actually see our reasons why. If you look over here, there's some moisture out in the Caribbean, and if you follow my finger, you can kind of see some of that upper-level wind, some of those low clouds getting pushed across, and our wave is trying to make it across eastwards into the Caribbean. And so when you see that, that's that difference in wind speeds and direction. That is that wind shear, and that is not conducive for development. And then also, if you look here, we also have an upper-level low. That's providing even more shear, so it is not favorable right now for any tropical development. So if we want to go back, this area, there will be a Central American gyre is what we like to call it. So a general area of low pressure will likely develop here in a week. And this is not guaranteed to form any tropical system at all, but it is something we'll have to look at in the long term. Guidance says it will kind of drift up, but at the time, we don't know what that is. So overall, it's not on the Hurricane Center graphic. We shouldn't be worried about it, and this guy over here is not going to develop, and that is the only thing that matters. There will just be some gusty rain and showers over in the Lesser Antilles that we'll have to contend with, but nothing too expected for this time of the year, and nothing we should be worried about. So saying that, we're going to pass over to the desk over to Christian.
Yes, thank you, Evan. And as Hayden. And as Hayden was talking about, we don't have too much to worry about at this very moment, but those tropics can still be very active as it is still hurricane season, and we should still not entirely let our guard down, even though it's becoming later in October. And I think most people may think that October is kind of like a relieving month for the peak of hurricane season, but that is not entirely true. And as we look into our 7-day forecast once again, it is still going to be warming up. 87 degrees today for Wednesday of our high, and it's going to be dipping down to 64 degrees for today in the evening. And so that's going to be feeling really nice. And, you know, fortunately for the rest of this week, it's still going to remain very warm. And I personally like to feel like, well, it's fall, so why don't we start to get some cooler temperatures? And I am aware that apparently for the rest of our country, most of our states up in the north are actually going to get their fair share of cooler temperatures as it is fall. But of course, because we are Florida, we are not going to be a part of that. But I know for a fact that we will have our time later this season. But for now, we will still have some warm temperatures, especially during the daytime. At least at night, it's going to be cooling down to the upper to mid 60s, but even down to 59 degrees into Saturday. And that's going to be a really nice reliever. And as you can look Saturday for our game, it's going to be very nice and sunny. And there are going to be perfect conditions to be enjoying the game. And, you know, I hope that it eventually starts to cool down for those games, because sometimes it's more bearable to watch the football games when it is a lot cooler. But, you know, like I said, at least it is very nice conditions overall to be enjoying the game. And hopefully we can see those cooler temperatures approaching our area very soon. And so we will now be passing things off to Evan that will be talking about the national.
Hopefully those cooler temperatures that are right now present in the northern part of our country definitely hopefully get down to us sooner rather than later. Should be projected for this weekend, which should be good, but still a little bit of a ways away as we look. 75 in Memphis. It is still a sweltering 89 in Tallahassee. Still going to be a while to wait until some of these a little more fall-like conditions, like in Minneapolis, where it's 61, finally fall down to our areas for our low temperatures later in the week. Besides that, we're looking at 59 as well in Billings. Still pretty much a even temperature gradient, and I guess I should say zero temperature change when it comes to the east side of the country and the south to even the west side. We're reaching 84 in Los Angeles and San Francisco. We are still hitting as well dry dew points out to the west, not helping too much of those fires out as well. They've been continually burning throughout the year. In fact, even in the east, we're reaching some low dew points. 44 in Memphis, the cold front, which we'll talk about in just a moment, just roll through and drop that temperature, or dew point down, a little bit, make them feel a little more comfortable. Regardless, this is where all the moisture has been situated, just east of the cold front, being basically squeezed onto the east coast, where we're having a dew point of 67 down Tallahassee. There's that cold front, controlled by kind of two high pressure systems a little bit. rolling all the way up and into Toronto, all the way starting around New Orleans and even down into Corpus Christi, Texas. As you can see on my screen, we don't have much moisture with it, which is great news. No severe weather dealing with it, which, yes, severe weather and precipitation helps to get that temperature down a little bit farther. Regardless, it's still about a 5 to 10 degree temperature drop behind this cold front around Memphis, around Lexington, anywhere in Kentucky. Meanwhile, a little bit farther out west, a dominant high pressure center has been continually dominating the west. A little bit of rain giving a little bit of relief to Montana and Washington, a little bit of the northern sides of the Northwest, with lots of onshore moisture coming farther to the east, which should probably affect Minneapolis and Chicago later this week. Meanwhile, a lot of dry air, just with a lot of long stretch of a jet streak of dry air stretching across the middle of our country, as well as just pushing out a lot of dry air, which is kind of situated along the southeast, which is along that cold front. I don't know if you saw, there was no precipitation, mainly because of that dry air. It's really getting coughed and suffocating that convection that it needs to be able to provide that rain. And it's the rain that we really need a lot for the western part of the country, but is not getting it. So that drought monitor is still going to continue for much of the west coast. A little bit of the northeast is going to get a little bit of a relief for them, which would be good news for Boston and anywhere in Maine and New Hampshire, especially where it's going to be nice and cool in Chicago, 48 degrees. That cold front not reaching too far down into Florida yet, as well as you see the temperatures will still get up to 80 and 88, Tallahassee and Miami. Sweltering heat, though, falling along most of the central, kind of southern part of the country around Texas, where we're reaching 90 in Dallas and 92 in San Antonio. But for now, we're going to pass it off to look at the back locally with Hayden.
Yes, he said it all. Not a lot going on nationally, and that's the same for us. And as Evan was talking about before, that cold front is not here yet. And you probably noticed that you walked outside. It is quite hot and quite a bit humid too as well. So the beautiful sunset is setting over Doak Campbell Stadium. Like I said, a big game there Saturday. So hopefully everything goes well there. It's a northwest wind, so some of that drier, stable air. Though I do note some of this later shading, there is a bit of a sea breeze. Psychological is 83, so if you're down by the coast, you're going to be a little bit cooler. Now as we head inland, we're going to be warmer to the mid-80s with 89, the hot spot today, 89. And keep in mind that is right now at 6:18. That was not at 3 o'clock. So just something to keep in perspective. And as for the dew points, as I mentioned before, that the wind coming off the ocean, so the Gulf, it is going to be in the mid-70s. And then around the Tallahassee region, Valdosta, Thomasville, it's going to be anywhere from the upper 60s to low 70s. Combine that with a temperature in our upper 80s, and you have a heat index that's probably feeling like in the lower 90s. Pretty unprecedented for this time of the year. And as I said, this is kind of a mention of that sea breeze in St. Mark's and Apalachicola. So the place to be right now is the coast on the beautiful Gulf of Mexico. The nice breeze, it is all down there. As for our radar, we have some of that high pressure and some of that dry air in the region that's allowing us to get so hot. And it's also very stable. You see some of this clutter popping up by Bristol. That is probably controlled fires or just clutter on the radar. There is nothing, not even anywhere by our coastal areas in Lake City, closer to that Atlantic influence. There's not a drop to be seen. And then as you head further north by Bainbridge and Dothan, you're just going to get some more dry air into our area, especially as that cold front tries to make its way to the region, but it will probably fail to do so, unfortunately. So the futurecast shows some of that clear skies and that light northwest flow. And then as we head into tomorrow, actually, we start to get more of a easterly push of wind. And so that's going to bring some higher, some cumulus clouds associated with that daytime heating. And then maybe a couple of showers if you live east of Lake City, although I wouldn't be too optimistic due to those really stable conditions. So for tonight, it's going to be 68 degrees. Pretty clear and a light south-southeast wind, nothing too crazy. And then tomorrow, same thing as today, picture perfect. Slightly bit warm, 86, a light wind at east. Is going to be a beautiful day in Tallahassee, Florida State. So if you do want to get around Landis, as long as you wear your mask, it's going to be very nice. And then for our week ahead, we're going to be seeing the mid-80s through Friday, quite warm. And then look at Saturday, low of 59, high of 78 is going to be a beautiful game day. and then we will start to begin to warm up into next week. And so now we're going to pass it off to Christian and finish for Florida.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, and we will be focusing more on the Florida cities. And so, excuse me. Okay, here we go. All right, so first we will be looking at the city of Miami. It's going to be very warm. We've got 88 degrees. It's a little bit cloudy, and in the week, Thursday and Friday, it's going to be a thunderstorm of 85 degrees. And as we look into Tampa, right behind me, we got 91 degrees, partly cloudy skies. For Wednesday, Thursday will also be partly cloudy skies, and it's 90 degrees. And for Friday, it will be 88 degrees with some thunderstorms. As we look into Orlando, we've got 88 degrees with some partly cloudy skies, as well as Thursday, it's going to be thunderstorm, and Friday it will also be thunderstorming, going down to 86 degrees. We will be taking a look at Jacksonville, 84 degrees for both Wednesday and Thursday. It's going to be nice and partly cloudy skies for both of those days. And for Friday, it's going to also be actually still partly cloudy skies with 86 degrees. And we will be also looking over at Pensacola. It's going to be kind of a different scenery compared to the rest of the state. Very sunny skies for today at 82 degrees. It's going to be warming up just a little bit as we get into Thursday and Friday. They will also be catching in some clouds, just like the rest of the state. And we'll be looking at tonight's forecast. It's going to be very clear in the cities of Key West, Fort Myers, and all the way to our neighbors out west in Pensacola. And as you can see, Key West is by far the warmest temperature for the state at 81 degrees. And you can see a big temperature difference drops down to 66 degrees in Pensacola. Meanwhile, for the majority of the state, it's still going to be very cloudy. We got 68 degrees in Tallahassee, Jacksonville, and it's going to be warming up a little bit as you get into further South Florida. And as we look into tomorrow's forecast, it's still going to be relatively cloudy for the majority of the state. Key West, Fort Myers, and Pensacola are still going to have some clear skies, very nice sunny skies. And as we look at cities of Gainesville, Tallahassee, it will be 87 degrees, partly cloudy skies. West Palm Beach, 86 degrees, and 84 degrees up in Jacksonville, and 88 degrees in Miami. And it's still going to be very cloudy, and I can't wait for the rest of these cities in Florida to actually start getting some clearer skies, because I'm sure that most of us are starting to get kind of weary for wanting to have some clear skies. But I mean, luckily, I'm sure that for most of the state, we will be having our fair share of clearer skies. And so now we'll be passing things off to Evan.
Thank you very much, Christian. One last glorious look at our beautiful Phil Campbell Stadium cam. Now we finally reached that sunset. Starting to appear those bright orange colors that everybody loves, especially on a clear night like tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if we get one of those photos tagged into our Facebooks later tonight. It's looking like a beautiful night for it, and I hope you soak that in, definitely. It's still 89 degrees, though, partly cloudy skies. You might be sweating a little bit taking that picture out tonight. Winds coming at least a little bit of a breeze at 7 miles an hour to help out, but no cloud cover to help out with that. But it's better for the sunset picture in itself, at least for me as well. Original, a little bit cooler temperatures up into Georgia at 82 degrees in Thomasville, as well as still a little bit of cloud cover lingering around Valdosta, a little further east, around 87 degrees as well. And because of how high those temperatures are, well, I should say those temperatures are high because of how muggy these conditions are, where we are feeling dreadful, very humid anywhere along the coast, and especially very oppressive around Apalachicola, anywhere by those coasts. That sea breeze helping the moisture get onto the shore, and as well, it is affecting Monticello, Thomasville, Tallahassee, and all around the Big Bend region. On our muggy meter is feeling very dreadful. At least with how high those dew points are, it isn't really converting too much of precipitation. Should have a nice drive on your way home tonight. Anywhere along I-10, anywhere along Monroe Street, Tennessee Street, any street. Should have a great drive out today. Shouldn't have to deal with much wet weather traffic, as I know a lot of people do not really care for at all, including myself. Even if you take that drive a little bit further down east, down I-10 into Lake City or Jacksonville, should not be experiencing too many problems there, as well as we don't have a single speck of rain on that radar. Cloud cover starts to die out even more heading into the night tonight, but the cloud cover will probably come back again tomorrow, and we might see a chance of just a little bit of precipitation, especially a little bit farther along the east end of the Big Bend region and Valdosta. But for tonight, it should be clearing out definitely around 68 degrees. Should be a nice, beautiful night if you want to take that walk. Get some exercise in when it's in the 60s and you're not sweltering and sweating like crazy in the 80s. So yeah, that'll definitely help you out a lot then, because then in the 80s, they come back again tomorrow, 86 degrees and sunny. Not be expecting too much cloud cover at all to help you out as a sense of shade. You're going to have to use those trees a lot if you're exercising during the day tomorrow. But game day forecast, boy, everybody loves it. 7:30, having those good 72 degrees, and we're going to get down to 60 by the end of game time. Should be a great forecast for the players to be able to not sweat as much in the sweltering heat, as well as the rest of your week, getting a nice 78 for the high on Saturday for game day. Look at that low on Saturday night as well, reaching down to 60, which will be very pleasant for everybody everyone including the players and everything. And it'll be nice beginning maybe of sweater weather. Maybe, Hayden, possibly?
Yeah, absolutely. At least for Saturday and Sunday, that weather is going to be nice just in time for the game and any other activities you love to do on the weekends. That low will be 59 on Saturday morning. So it's going to be nice sweater weather. Maybe drink some warm, some hot chocolate or some hot coffee, whatever you prefer. I'm more of a hot chocolate guy, but maybe we'll do a poll on it. We'll find out. So yeah, we're starting to get into mid-October, so we should start to see some nice weather changes. Like I said, as we were talking about those leaves, especially over in the northern areas, I've seen lots of great pictures up in Michigan and by the Great Lakes. I have actually a friend in Wisconsin right now. He's been sending me pictures, and I am for sure jealous compared to the 89 down here. So on the 7-day, we don't. There is a slight cool down to the weekend. We don't really see any big changes. Although I do expect by late October we'll start to get into more of that, into that fall weather, and we'll be quite comfortable. So make sure you follow us on Twitter at FSU Weather, and also if you're on Facebook, go pay a visit, like us, and then most importantly, we're streaming live on YouTube, so do watch us. It's going to be a great show as always. And then if you have any pictures, any sunsets, follow us on Instagram and please post it. It really is going to be quite nice this week, especially if you're into warm weather. It'd be a good time to maybe hit the pools or hit that last gasp at the beach. But that's all I got for you. I'm Hayden Wilder, student meteorologist. Have a good day.